Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi everyone. Welcome to bonus episode number 3. I can't actually believe I've made this. We are going to be talking about a major deal that's happening this week that I haven't been able to squeeze into episodes in the past, but this is about Jupiter, and it's about us finally starting to see those amazing blessings that I've been talking about. I can hear y'all now. Kate, where is the expansion? Where are the blessings? I know. This week, everything changes. So yeah, let's talk about it. First, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing and following and giving me a 5 rating or whatever all that stuff is. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to jump right into Jupiter because I'm going to keep this as short as possible, but it's just too big. I couldn't let it slide away. Okay. So, I've been talking a lot about Jupiter in its exaltation in Cancer. And wow, that's the greater benefic. That's blessings and expansion and good luck. And everybody's saying to me, all of my clients are like, yeah, where though? When? Where's my blessing? I'm waiting for my blessing, right? Yes, there is a little detail that I left out, and please keep in mind that I never leave out things to make it more confusing. It's just that in any episode, I can only talk about so much, or the episodes get really long, and I'm afraid that you'll get bored of listening to me that long. You know how it is. The sky is So anyway, here it is. This week, right around the 15th, it might be a little bit, it could be the 16th for some time zones, I'm not sure. But right around the 15th, Jupiter is being born as the morning star. Okay, so let me explain what this means. When a planet is too close to the sun, we can't see the planet in the sky because the sun is brighter than everybody. And so it eclipses, it shines so brightly that any planet really close to it cannot be seen. It just is eclipsed. Makes sense, right? When you hear astrologers talk about a planet being combust, that's what it means. It's close to the sun, we can't see it. When the planet gets about 15 degrees on either side of the sun, it is visible. And that is when we can see where I'm going with this? That's when we can see the gifts that it brings. That's when it really starts to cook. When it's with the sun, all kinds of other stuff is going on. When it's in the heart of the sun or cazimi, it's getting like recharged. All of these phases are really good. But for us to reap the benefits, right? For us to actually see the energy of any planet manifesting, that planet has to be visible in the sky. Depending on which side of the sun the planet's on, it's either a morning star, meaning you'll see it in the sky right before sunrise, or an evening star, and you'll see it in the sky right after the sun sets. Jupiter is getting reborn as the morning star, and this is by far the most exciting phase, right? This is super good. This means all those Jupiter blessings will now start to become available. Okay, and we'll see them, we'll recognize them, and it'll finally feel like things are moving and manifesting. So this is very good news. Now, I do want to say, and I'm going to have to do some future episodes about this. For a while, Jupiter is going to be making a difficult angle to Saturn, and Saturn limits things. And then it's going to make a difficult aspect to Mars. And Mars makes things edgy. The actual best time, well, there are 2 super good times for Jupiter. This week around the 15th, when it becomes visible, this is one of the super, super good times. The other time is going to be later in the maybe September, October. I will do another episode on this for sure, but there's going to be a period where Jupiter is not making any difficult aspects to the malefics, Saturn and Mars. And in fact, in the middle of that period where it's free from troubling energies, it'll actually be getting some nice energy from Venus. So there's going to be another sort of peak period for Jupiter, but it's going to be, I think, the last week of September through early mid-November. It's going to be a really, really good time. But remember, this is a year-long transit, and it's always good, even if things like recently have been working out behind the scenes. It doesn't make our hearts sing, right? It's like, no, I want to see my blessings. I want them in my life. What is this whole thing that Jupiter's doing whatever behind the scenes? I know, I feel you. I'm impatient too. I have Mars in my first house. I am the epitome of impatient. But there you have it. All of that is over this week because, like I said, around July 15th, Jupiter is being reborn as the morning star. Now, not only does this mean that we'll finally have access to those blessings, they'll actually become real. No more of this behind the scenes thing. But the other thing is the ancients believed that when the planet first emerges, so I'm talking about this week, when the planet first emerges, it brings omens. I love a good omen, don't you? So what that means is it gives us insights or omens. It gives us hints. It brings symbols. It shows us something about what it has in store for us or what's coming up for us, what kinds of blessings, in this case, we can expect. So this is a truly magical week, especially on the 15th, but really all week. I want everybody to be paying attention to the signs and symbols. What information is coming to you from strange sources, Also, just literally symbols, right? Like my daughter recently has been having spiders land on her. And so we've had to work on getting in touch with spider medicine, what the spider symbolism is, what they bring, look for that kind of, not spiders. Don't get freaked out. I am not wishing spiders on anybody. It was an example. I can already tell some people are pulling away from their AirPods or whatever it is you listen on, right? It's like, I hope you weren't driving. I said spiders. People probably swerved around in the road. Not spiders, but I mean like that, where a certain animal or symbol or number or color or whatever kind of thing is just coming into your field of awareness. It could come from literal visions and dreams. Jupiter is the guru. Jupiter is spiritual wisdom. So it could definitely come to you through intuitive knowing, but more as the morning star, I think you will literally be seeing and or hearing these omens, right? You'll be getting messages that I believe will be pretty tangible in the material world. So be looking for the repetitions, look for the things that are out of place. Listen when people are talking. What kinds of topics keep recurring in your life? Or does somebody contact you out of the blue? Or those weird things where, you're squeezing the tomatoes at the grocery store and some person just says a random thing, maybe to you, maybe not to you, but that you can hear and you just know there's a message. That's that thing I was waiting to hear. So look for the omens this week they're going to give you some kind of information, insights, whatever, into the kinds of gifts Jupiter's bringing. And then those are going to continue to unfold. So just give it time, right? Give it time, let them unfold. Now, for some of us, even though we do have that aspect to Saturn going on right now and all of that, for some of us, the blessings will literally start rolling in this week. But I really do think this week is going to be more about the messages, the omens, than it is about the actual reception for a lot of us. And then when we get to that super open, no difficult planets, in the fall, I think that's when we're really going to start reaping the rewards. But be open, just be open because, Jupiter. So the places I would look, the areas of life, how I'm always telling you, look at your natal chart. So there are 3 houses that I want you to be aware of. So obviously Jupiter is in Cancer. What house is that in your chart? Because that's going to be an area where you are very likely to be receiving some of Jupiter's blessings. That's where he is. And most of us are going to feel something there. The other places, though, that are almost equally likely to receive gifts from Jupiter are the 2 signs that he rules. So that's Sagittarius, the seer, the visionary. What house is that in your chart? And Pisces, the deeply spiritual Pisces. What house is that? So find those houses, Cancer, Sag, and Pisces, because those are going to be the places where you're most likely to feel the direct gifts, like just literally landing into those areas of your life. It doesn't mean that you won't be feeling or receiving gifts in other areas. This is also a general energy, but honestly, it impacts the houses that have something to do with Jupiter most directly. Find those. Lots of gifts, okay? So I hope all of that makes sense. I will definitely come back to you when we're getting closer to that major open period where we don't have the malefics involved. Oh, the one other thing, since I'm thinking of that, since Jupiter is currently making this aspect to Saturn, Saturn's retrograde, I talked about that last week. So you could be seeing, though, some support in your plans for rebuilding in some area of your life. Wherever Saturn is retrograding and you're sort of examining your boundaries, possibly tearing down some life structures so that you can rebuild, Jupiter should be actually giving sort of a boost of good energy to help support that process. So it's not a bad thing. It's just to really get, the real sense of that exalted, greater benefic Jupiter. It's going to be stronger when we don't have Saturn or Mars involved. Okay, that's just how it works. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. I just didn't want to let this day of omens, it's really the week, especially from the 15th on, but I didn't want to let this go by without giving you a heads up. I hope you find that interesting and helpful. I would love to hear about what kinds of omens present themselves to you. And again, thank you for being here, and please share the podcast and do whatever you can to help me boost the numbers and get out there so that, I can share my work with other people. I'd love it if you'd give the podcast a really super good rating on whatever your app you use. And yeah, just all of that stuff. I'm super grateful. And until, well, a few days when I'm back with you, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always. Talk to you soon. Bye.